Hey Dragon Slayers! Today's video is about sedentary lifestyle and its connection to insulin resistance. The maxim, use it or lose it, could apply to insulin sensitivity and physical activity. The less we move our body, the more insulin resistant it becomes. In fact, this phenomena is so widely observed and strong that many suspect physical inactivity is the main reason why insulin resistance tends to worsen with age. Being sedentary for a few days causes demonstrable insulin resistance, even in otherwise healthy people. And the problem only gets worse in older people. And this isn't a subtle effect. Just 1 week of being sedentary can increase insulin resistance 7 times. In fact, a few weeks of immobility has a lasting effect with insulin resistance, even when a person becomes mobile again. The insulin resistance persists for weeks at around double what it would be in a person who had maintained physical activity. Insulin resistance through disuse is mostly a result of our muscles. Because we don't use them, they respond less to insulin. Interestingly, the insulin resistance occurs with incredible precision based on the muscles that are not being used. For example, if one leg is in a cast and thus immobile, that leg becomes half as insulin sensitive as the mobile leg within just days. The molecular mechanisms that explain the insulin resistance in the immobile muscle are fascinating. Essentially, the immobility hijacks the inflammation pathways. We've explored how inflammation can cause insulin resistance previously. And those same events occur in the case of disuse. The unused muscle experiences an increase in activity of inflammatory events, which drive the insulin resistance. Even something as seemingly benign as sitting for too long, too often, is associated with greater insulin resistance. A very interesting study found that by having people sit for 2 hours prior to a meal versus occasionally interrupting the sitting, the blood glucose response to a meal was roughly 45% higher. The simple solution to buffering the harm on insulin resistance of sitting is to simply break it up roughly every 20 minutes for as little as 2 minutes. For instance, just flex your muscles from time to time, contracting a muscle 30 times for a few seconds each is enough to help reduce the risk. I know what you're thinking. There are so many things to worry about in life. And now we have to worry about the air we breathe, the chemicals we swallow, and more. While it's impossible to get all of this 100% right, we should make an effort to genuinely scrutinize our habits and environments to determine the variables in which we can control. If you live in a city with horrible air quality, there's probably not much you can do to change that. You might consider purchasing a breathing mask that can filter PM 2.5. Sleep, as elusive as it is, gets better as good habits are practiced, especially getting off screens well before bedtime. I hope you've highlighted some aspects of your environment and behaviors that you can focus on. The sum of all of these small efforts is larger than the individual parts. As inconsequential as each of them might seem on their own, putting away your phone earlier in the evening and more frequently replacing your home air filters will affect how your body senses and responds to insulin. But you'll want to do much more after you learn further solutions to preventing and reversing insulin resistance. And that's what we'll discuss in the next series of videos. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And remember, guys, that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.